Well, what is up, boys? Welcome back to a brand new video. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to make a movement system like this from scratch. We're literally going to be going over the whole tutorial, also the animating and everything, how to set it up, how to set up the framework, and how to code this. I'm going to be teaching you guys from 0 to 100. So make sure you subscribe, turn notifications on, and make sure you also like the video and watch the video until the end so you do not miss out, because I believe I'm going to give out some crazy sauce here. Now, if you guys are interested in learning more crazy things like combat systems, NPCs, quests, and basically anything you need to create a whole game by yourself, check out the Academy. It's going to be the first link in the description. Some of our students had some crazy results recently. And yeah, the Academy is also a place where you can learn scripting, learn how to get paid by scripting, and also learn how to make your own games so you can create something very, very cool. But yeah, if you're interested in that, it's going to be the first link in the description. Without further ado, let's get straight to the video. Alrighty, guys, so now we're going to be starting with the setup scripts and what we're going to be doing with setting all of this up. So what we're going to be doing right now is we're going to go into starter player scripts. We're going to create a new folder and we're going to call this basically client. This is where all of our client scripts are going to be stored. Now in here, we're going to make a new local script and we're going to only name this initializer. And that is going to be it. So we do not need anything else in here. This is going to be the only local script that we're going to be using here. Everything else we're going to be doing by modules. So next, what I want you guys to do is I want you to make a new folder in replicated storage, name it resources, and then make another folder, name it modules. Boom. There we go. Now, once this is done, we're going to make a new folder in here and we're going to call it client. Once that is done, we're going to make a new module inside of here and we're going to call this movement module. There we go. I'm going to copy this. We can paste these in here so we just have it look cool. And now, once that is done, the only thing we're going to be doing from this point on is basically writing these few lines of code here so we can initialize these modules to run whenever we start the game. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to do for, we're going to do an underscore, comma, v in game.replicated storage, resources, modules, client, get children, do. Easy as that. We're going to do if v is a module script, then we're going to require it. So local module equals to require. Boom. What we're going to be doing from that point on is we're just going to go into this script right here, which is the movement module. And we're just going to say movement module, function, movement module. We're going to do two dots. We're going to do init, do a closing, press enter. And basically now we have a function called movement module init. And only thing we're going to be doing right here is we're going to do module, module init. There we go. That is the whole setup, and this is how we're going to structure everything we do from this point on. So basically, I'm going to go a little bit in detail on what all of this means, and I'm not going to go too crazy. If you're interested in going in detail on what each thing means, then check out the Academy. But as of now, I'm just going to go briefly over what I just wrote here. So basically, I just used a for loop, which basically means that I'm going to grab all of the things that are inside of this folder. As you can see, clients folder, I'm getting all the children. The children in scripting terms are basically everything that is inside of this folder, right? If it's a module script, which it is, it's going to basically require the module script, and then it's going to do the init function, which is going to initialize it. Now, this is where we go into here and we make a function called init, and basically anything that happens here. So let's say I do print initialized movement, and I go into the game. As you can see, when I press play, it's going to say initialize movement, which means our code is well up and running. Pretty simple. Now, a couple things that we're going to be going off from here is going to be, first of all, starting with the input, right? So we need to make sure that we can detect when we press a key, we can detect when we can run, when we can, dash, when we can slide. So basically in this video, we're going to be doing a couple of those things. But the first thing that we need to do is, by the way, we're going to be doing all the code inside of this module script. So make sure you keep track and pay attention on what I'm writing right now, so you guys are going to know what each thing means. So first things we're going to be doing is we're going to be requiring the game get service user input service. So that is going to be UIS, which is a short for user input service. This service allows us to detect any certain key press that we have when we press a key. Let's say we press Q to dash, is going to detect when we press Q. So to basically have that sorted, we're going to say if UIS.input began connect function, we're going to do two of these. So we're going to do I and E, right? We're going to say if E, then return end. And then we're going to basically do this thing, which is i.keycode, and we're just going to change this to q. I'm going to explain what each thing means. So basically what e return end means is if we're writing in the chat, or if we're basically doing something that doesn't allow us to, execute the keys, it's not going to run this code. So we don't want to be dashing while typing in the chat, essentially. What this other thing means is if our key code, so if our input key code is equal to q, then we can say print dashed. There we go. Now, once you notice right here, if we go into the game and I press Q, it's going to basically print dashes right here, which means our code is working. Now, we do not have any single cooldowns on here, which we need to change a bit, right? So what we're going to be doing right now is we're going to make a couple of properties right here, which we're going to say dash cooldown equals to false, and we're going to say local dash time equals to, let's say the cooldown would be 5 seconds. No, let's just put 3. I think that'll be good. So boom, now we have a 3-second cooldown and we have a dash cooldown variable, which can be true or false. Now what we have to do is we have to say n dash cooldown equals to false. We're just going to basically set the dash cooldown equals to true. After a certain amount of time, so we can say dash time, we are going to basically set the dash cooldown to false, which even prompted us right here, as you boys saw. There we go. What this basically means is that if the dash cooldown is true, we cannot dash, so we're going to set it to true once we dash, and after a certain amount of time with the task delay function, we're going to let the dash be available again. So by setting this to false, right? So now if you go into the game, if I press Q, now I'm spamming Q, but I can only dash again after 3 seconds. Now, as you can see, it says X2, which means after 3 seconds, I'm available to dash again, and I press Q and I could have dashed, right? So that is basically the whole premises of this. Now, what we can also do is we can add an animation to this. So that is going to be pretty simple. That is going to be pretty simple. We're just going to go into here. We're going to go to Rig Builder. Since we're in R6, if you guys want to change it to R15, go to Avatar Settings and just basically change whatever type of animation you want to do. For this video, we're doing R6. Basically, go to Animation Editor, go to your dummy, and let's just make a quick dash animation. I'm just going to do something real quick. So we're just going to basically make sure that we just roll up. I can like do something like this. Boom. Boom. I just put my head up. Let's just do something, yeah, like that. Getting ready for a roll. We can even put these hands down right here. I don't know. We're just going to have to make a simple like roll animation. Boom. Then we rotate us, so like we're rolling. We're gonna put these down. There we go. You can even put the hands even further down. There we go. Boom. And now we can just pivot ourselves. Let's just do something like this. And then we just make sure we rotate. So you're just basically taking all the body parts. There we go. Then just let's put them further down. And then we can just make our character stand back up slowly. We'll just maybe make him do like this. There we go. Just change the legs up so he's kind of like starting to stand up. Oops, our leg got lost. I'm gonna skip the animation process after this. I'm just showing you guys how we can make something simple happen out of there. Let's just raise our head by a little bit. Boom, and then we can just make it so we kind of like stand back up right here. We're just gonna copy and paste this frame. There we go. Boom, quick and simple roll animation. Looks pretty cool. What we're gonna be doing right now is publishing this to Roblox, hitting save, and basically copying this ID right here. After that, we're gonna go into the resources folder and we're gonna make a new folder called animations. After that folder is made, we're gonna make a new animation instance by clicking the plus, and we're gonna basically call this dash, and in there we're gonna copy this ID that we just got from this animation, and that is really gonna be it. Now we're gonna return to our module right here, and we're gonna be basically not here, we're gonna go into here, and we're gonna go ahead and call the player game.players.localPlayer, and then we're gonna call the player's character equals to player.character or player.character added wait. Since we're calling this from the client, we can basically call the character like this. The only thing that we're gonna have to do right now is load our dash animation. So local dash anim equals to character. Basically what I just wrote here is we're requiring the humanoids animator inside of the character, and we're just loading in the dash animation that we just copied and pasted. So as you can see, we're doing a humanoid way, and then we're doing an animator way, and basically once we're doing that, I just added a line right here. So these are the only two lines I added into the code. So basically this one right here, and then this dash anim play. And as you can see, why I did the animator is basically, if you guys check the workspace right here and I go to my character and you see the humanoid in the animator, there is this sort of instance, and this is what loads and preloads all the animations. Now once I go into the game and I press Q, as you can see, it does the animation in my character, and I can basically use it every 3 seconds, but we still don't have the velocity for the actual dash. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. But basically the only thing I've added is this line of code right here, and then I've just made it play. We can even remove this print statement right here. Now what we have to do is we have to make body velocity apply to the character so we can actually move it when we're doing the actual dash. So that is just going to be pretty simple. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be making a new body velocity instance, body velocity. There we go. We can name it whatever we want. The parent of this is gonna be our character, wafer child, humanoid. We don't even need, actually, since it's input, we can say humanoid root part. All right, so basically, as you guys can see right here, I've added the new lines, which is max force, which is basically going to be how much of a force we can apply. This is like the max kind of force, so you don't really need to go too deep into this. The main thing that you're going to be doing for adjusting distance in this is the velocity, which is applied to our root part, and it's applied to where we are looking at. So that's what this line basically means. And then we can modify this. So basically modifying this, if you make it a higher number, it pushes you further. If you make it a lower number, it pushes you less. And then we delete the body velocity after 0.3 seconds with the game debris function. And then after that, as you can see, if we go into the game, we press Q, we're going to be basically rolling in front, and we have our dash set up as you can see. So boom, pretty easy. And now we can just basically dash everywhere and just go, as you can see. Now what we can do also is we can make it so depending on where what key we're holding, we can also detect where we can dash, so if it's left or right, or what type of key we hold. So to do this, we can do a sort of thing called is key down with the user input service, which basically says, okay, let's do UIS is key down. As you can see with these two dots, we can detect if, as you can see, let me just do this, if is key down, let's say enum.keycode.d, then we can go ahead and copy this, but instead we can also just basically paste this right here, and we can do I think we have to make a separate body velocity. So let's just make a new function. Now let's just do like this, and then what we're going to be doing right here is we're going to do if it's W, we're going to basically do the same thing that we're doing right now. Then else if, and we're going to do the same thing. Let's just copy and paste this over. We're going to do, let's say S now. Instead of it now being forward, we're going to put a minus next to this, and it's going to basically dash us backwards. Then what we're going to do right here is we're going to copy and paste this again. We're going to do D for right, and then we're going to basically make sure this says right vector instead of look vector, and we're going to put, I think this one in the positives, sends you to the right. And then once we do this, we're just going to copy and paste this again. We're going to do A with the right vector, but now minus 60. And basically what we're going to do right now is we're going to place a dash anim play right here. Also, we're going to do another type of line right here. Now I know this can be way better looking, and we can have one function that just calls this, but for the sake of these purposes, I'm just going to copy and paste everything. So I can just show you guys what each thing means. Let's just do this one right here. This is basically if you're not holding any of these keys, it's just going to do the front dash because you're standing still. So as you guys can see right now, when we go into the game and I press D, I'm dashing right. If I press A and dash, I'm dashing left. If I press S and dash, I'm going to dash backwards. And then if I press W or I hold nothing, I'll dash forward, and I'll basically have the animation playing. Now what you can do is you can basically make a dash left, you do dash right, and then we do dash backwards, and then we can load these in the same way we loaded this. So let's say we do dash L, So this is like the left dash, and we basically call this dash L. And you will basically just copy and paste this line of code for every single dash we do. And after that, you will just make it. So let's say that was the left one. We go ahead and paste it right into here. And instead of dash anim, we say dash anim L. And basically, as you can see right now, once we go into game and we press Q, it's going to basically play the dash animation. Now, I haven't made a new animation for the left dash, but you guys just get the point. You make every single animation you make, you put it in here, and then you basically load it and play it. And that's really going to be all there is to dashing. And it's basically multi-directional dashing. So you can go ahead and dash left, right, front and back. And yeah, that's really the base system of what everything goes into it. Now, next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing the running, which is pretty simple. And we're going to be using shift lock to do that. We can also do, I'm going to show you guys also how to do a custom idle and walk animation, which should be pretty simple. And I guess we're going to do that first before we move on to the next things. So basically, to get the custom idle and walk animation, we're going to play the game. We're going to go to our avatar. We're going to copy this animate script. We're going to basically press stop. We're going to paste it into our starter character scripts. And now we're just going to make a custom, simple custom idle that I'm going to do. Let's say we do one where our character is just basically looking simple. We're just going to do some base animations right here. I don't even know if I can make it like this, but yeah, let's just do something like this. We can even make it like a heroic pose or something. I don't even know. There we go. And now this is going to be like one of our idols when we're just standing and not doing anything. And we're going to basically replace this inside of the script that I just showed you guys. Yeah, there we go. And now we can just go ahead and make it looped. We're going to put the animation priority to idle. We're going to have it like, let's say 2 seconds of a duration. You're going to copy and paste this basically. Let's just make sure we capture this right here. There we go. And then also this. There we go. And now we're just going to go basically copy and paste this over to this time frame. We're going to go into here and we're just going to basically make sure he like moves like a little bit to just give depth to the animation. Basically make something like this. So it kind of like has life to it. Maybe even do this. There we go. So as you can see, now we kind of have a idle animation where he's just standing right there. We're going to basically publish it. Copy this and then copy the ID. And we're going to go into here. We're going to name it idle. Actually, we don't even have to do that. You can just leave this right here, have it copied. And we're going to go into the animate script. We're going to replace these numbers with the new ones that you just got. And then we're going to go into the idle script and we're going to replace these also. So this should have us covered with the idle. Now make sure when you go to avatar, you go to avatar settings. If you did R6, make sure you go to here and type R6 only. And then also for the, I don't know if that's, why do I not have all the other features? Let's see if they maybe changed that. Let's see if I go, as you can see. So as you can see, the custom idle is right there. I can basically go ahead and do that. You can do the same thing with the walk. I'm not going to animate the walk for the purposes of time in this video, but you go ahead and make a walk animation. You paste it into here and you also paste it into the run. So you replace these two and then you replace only this inside of the script, and that should have you with a custom walk. Yeah, like we can even do that one real quick and I'll just hit you up guys when I'm done. All right, so here we go. I basically made a simple walk animation. So just to give it a lot of depth into here, you put the animation priority to movement, save it. There we go. We just copy this and now we can go into the walk and we can replace this right here, and then we can also replace the run as I told you guys. And once we go into the animate script, we'll basically just replace this right here. Once you go into the game, as you can see, you will have a custom idle and you will have a custom walk. Pretty cool. Now, all we need to do is do the actual running animation. We have the dashing. We have like multi-directions. We can dash into any sort of direction. We have the walk in. We have the movement system. Now we just need a run. It's going to be pretty simple to script that. We're going to do the same thing we did right here. We can even label this dash. And then we're going to do the same thing we did just inside of here. Boom. We have to actually remove this for now. We're just going to name this run. And we're going to be doing two functions right here. We're going to be doing input begin and input end. Boom. Input end. Now what this basically means, input ended, what this basically means is that this will detect when we press the key, and this will detect when we let go of the key. Same thing we're going to be doing right here. We're going to be doing the same sort of thing, just changing it up a little bit. So we're going to keep this right here. Instead of this, we're going to do left shift to basically run. We can remove this as we do not need that. We're going to press enter, and that should have us covered there. We can just copy and paste this over here, and now we can just name this run stop, and we're gonna have to make an run animation. But before that, really simple, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be doing character.humanoid.walk speed equals to, let's say, 40. That's how much our sprint is going to be, and then 16 is the default value of the running, which is basically how we get back after we stop running. All right, so basically I just made this quick running animation, and it's pretty simple. Now you guys can animate however you want to animate yours. You're going to make sure it's looped, and then you're going to make sure the animation priority is set to action. Let's just set the action, and then we're going to press publish. We're going to save this, copy the ID, same thing as we did last time. Instead of this, now we're going to basically make a new animation here. We're going to call it run. Do not confuse this run with the one that we have right here. Just ignore that. And then for the movement module, simple thing we're going to do is we're going to just load it in right here by copy and pasting this equals to run anim. There we go. And we just make sure this says run instead. Now, simple thing we're going to do right here, say run anim play, and then run anim stop. That is really going to be everything that we need for the dash. Now, you guys will notice that you cannot run because you have shift lock, because it's interfering with the keys. Simple thing to fix this is to go into the play, and then once you're in the play mode, you go to starter player scripts. You're going to copy this player module. This is kind of a dumb process that they had to make, but yeah, you have to change it like this. You're going to basically copy and paste this right here. Once you have the player module, you're going to go into find and replace all. You can find this by going into here and you're clicking on this little icon right here. It will pop you up with this window, and now you can go ahead and search bound keys. Once that is done, you'll see that there is an existing thing called bound keys. Change this to whatever you want to do. Let's say left alt and right alt. We're going to change the shift lock to those. And then you're going to change left alt, right here. Once that is done, go into play, and as you can see, now we will have our running work. There we go. We can shift to run. We can dash on Q. Now, the only thing that I'm going to tell you guys is if you want to make the dash a larger priority than the run, a simple thing that we're going to do right here into the movement module is making sure that the dash anim, so we're going to make a new line of code right here, dash anim dot priority equals to enum.action animation priority.action 4. This is pretty simple. What this will do is it will make it so we can run and dash. As you can see, now we have a larger priority in the dash. If you want to lower the priority, just make it action 3, 2, or 1. But basically, now we have the running, and now we can dash on cue. We can even do multi-directional dashing if you go ahead and upload new animations. But as you can see right now, custom idle right here, we can walk with a custom walk, and we can also run with a custom movement system, and then we can do a custom dash right here for every single one of the directions. Now you can even make a simple slide by basically just doing the same thing you did for dashing. Really, like, there's not a difference in the slide, to be honest. We can just go ahead and copy and paste this over. We can delete all of these because that sliding is only going to be one direction. We can just delete all of this, and then once we're here, we can go ahead and do a longer body velocity deletion, and just make sure we put this to, like, let's say 70, maybe even less, actually 50. And then we're gonna put C, and then we can call this sliding. And basically, once we go into the game, as you can see, I can press C, and I'm just basically going to be sliding for a little. Basically, as you can see, yep, there we go. And now you can just make a simple slide animation. I'm just going to make one from scratch right here to just end off the tutorial with another feature. We're going to not loop it. We're going to just basically make sure our character goes straight into the slide like this. There we go. Just make sure he moves like this. We can just do, you can do whatever type of animation you want, really. I'll just make one that just looks at least decent. There we go. And basically we're just gonna copy and paste this over all the way to 1. There we go. And you can even just go ahead and just move it a little bit like this at the last end, so it kind of looks like it's moving. We're gonna put the action 4 priority, publish it, save everything, and then just copy and paste this. And we're gonna go into right here, duplicate this, call it slide, and basically just paste in the new ID. Go back to our movement module. We're gonna make sure we copy and paste the same thing. We're gonna call this slide anim, and we're gonna go into the animations folder and reference that. And then simple thing right here, instead of dash anim, we're just gonna do slide anim. And as you guys can see, what will happen right now is that I can actually slide and I can run and I can slide at the same time. So I can do this and then I can dash too, which is pretty cool. And it also actually, if you go ahead and check the module script, it goes off with the dash cooldown, so you can dash and slide at the same time, which is pretty cool. So that solves both of our problems at once. So we have our custom walk, custom idle, we can run, we can dash properly, and then after the dashing we can even run and take a starting slide right here, which sends us forward. And yeah, that would really be it for a base movement system. You guys have figured out how stuff works, how to write in modules, and how to basically structure the code. The structure can be a lot better also. I'm just doing this for the purposes of a beginner's tutorial so you guys can understand. I usually don't code like this. Can be simplified a lot easier into a function and they just call from up here. A lot of stuff can be done inside of one input begin and then stuff like that. But if you guys are interested in like learning how to do that more proper, or learning how to do more in-depth stuff like, I don't know, advanced AIs, or doing stuff like abilities, full game frameworks, then make sure to check out the Academy. It's going to be the first link in the description. You guys can check it out there. I'll also cover it in a bit of my previous videos, so if you want to know what it's about, make sure to check out one of my previous videos. I do talk about it in a lot of my videos, usually at the end of the video. But without further ado, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you liked it. If you did, make sure to subscribe and turn notifications on, and make sure to also like the video and drop a comment on where you left off while coding this. Without further ado, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.